9:31 now. Here's Martha.
We've got some brand new reaction this morning over this controversy between the NAACP and supporters of the Tea Party movement. The NAACP issuing a resolution this week calling out racism in the Tea Party. The Reverend Al Sharpton this morning saying exactly what the group wants the Tea Party leaders to do. Listen to this.
Why won't the Tea Party just say that we denounce anybody that comes to our rally that uses racism? I think what has overblown this is rather than saying, fine, anybody that comes to our affairs or events and say anything racist, we denounce it. And that's the end of the story. Why this resistance from the Tea Party leaders to say that we would renounce it? And why can't the head of the Tea Party come forward and say, we denounce it and we do this? I've done it with a National Action Network. I'm sure every other organization has done it. What is so difficult about just taking that position?
All right, well, the president of the NAACP echoing that in an interview Thursday, saying we aren't saying that the Tea Party is racist. What we're saying is that with their increasing power comes an increasing responsibility to act responsibly and to call out when they see those things on those signs. And he's, we'll talk about what signs he's referring to in a moment. Hilary Shelton is the director of the Washington Bureau and senior vice president of advocacy policy for the NAACP. And Deneen Borelli is a frequent Tea Party keynote speaker. She's also a fellow with Project 21, a Black conservative public policy group, and she's a Fox News contributor. So welcome to both of you. Good to have you both with us this morning. I guess, Deneen, I should start with you and get your reaction to Reverend Sharpton this morning and what he said. He says, you know what, when you become this much of an entity, a political entity, if there is anything, a sign about the KKK, you know, a bunch of these sorts of different things that they're referring to, then the Tea Party, he said, you know, Sarah Palin, Dick Armey, the NAACP need to come out and publicly denounce this.
This is a grand distraction and a grand manipulation of the NAACP and anyone else who is screaming racism. Clearly, the Tea Party movement is about the policies that are coming out of the Obama administration, policies that are going to kill our economy, jobs, you name it. But anytime they play the race card, that is their last-ditch effort to try to push their agenda for plantation politics.
All right, so what do you think about that, Hilary Shelton?
Well, I appreciate that that's what the central themes of the Tea Party are, and I believe that most people in the Tea Party are people of good faith and goodwill that want to see lower taxes and smaller government, and I certainly appreciate that, whether I agree or not with it. However, what we're seeing is actually some racist elements being introduced into the Tea Party process. On the fringe, we've seen many signs depicting the President of the United States as everything from a witch doctor to actually using the N-word to describe him. We've also seen them refer to him as a monkey. We also saw Tea Party activists at the date that the health care bill was being voted on Capitol Hill, actually calling Emanuel Cleaver, a member of the Congressional Black Caucus from Kansas City, Missouri, the N-word, spitting on John Lewis, who was a veteran of the Civil Rights Movement, and calling Barney Frank, the first openly gay member of the House of Representatives, the F-word. That kind of behavior is what this resolution calls for you to repudiate. Just separate yourself from those issues so you can focus on the agenda as you've espoused.
And some of what you have referenced, there isn't even any video proof of what you're even referencing, sir. So, and Andrew Breitbart even has a $100,000 reward for anyone who has video proof of half of the things you just claimed. Clearly, the Tea Party movement is about the policies. It's not about race. I invite you and your delegates and all the other members of the NAACP to come to a Tea Party rally. I've been to numerous rallies across the country. I am well received because they want to hear about the issues, the policies that are killing this country, not the race card. It's a losing game, it's a divisive game, and it's a dangerous game. And you should be condemning yourself for even thinking that that's the situation. It's important to stay with your agenda.
And it's also important to recognize that this is happening. And as long as this is happening and you're not repudiate it, it's going to be considered to be a part and parcel of your agenda.
Let me just break in here for 1 second. Hilary, I was interested this morning. I was watching Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. She was asked about this on Fox and Friends this morning, and she said that it's her experience when anything along these lines has happened at a Tea Party rally that the folks who are there police it themselves. You know, they say, look, get out of here. You have no place being here. So, you know, isn't
well,
that enough?
That's very helpful.
But I think the broader issue here, let me just say.
It's very helpful because what she's done is acknowledge that it's there and said that we're addressing it. And that's all we're saying. Repudiate it. It's there. Stop it, repudiate it, don't keep denying it. We're seeing it in magazines. We've got pictures we put on the NAACP's website because it's there. signs using the N-word to describe the President of the United States actually distracting us from the real issues.
Nobody would be supportive of that.
We want to make
Nobody
sure that
would be.
Well, for some reason, some of the people that are showing up at your rallies do support it to the point
you
they're
can
carrying
find some
signs saying
people
it.
at pretty much any place in America.
So thank you for recognizing that it happens.
Absolutely, I don't think anybody's not recognizing that.
My guess is that you are one of those people of good faith that renounces it and repudiates it.
Mr. Shelton, let me ask you something. Because I think there's a broader issue at work here, and it has to do with the larger policies. And what I think in some ways what the NAACP is being accused of here is sort of, putting in a red herring, sort of making this the topic rather than the topic that the Tea Party is talking about, and dealing with those issues that may be, in the long run, significantly more important to grapple with for the American people. That this sort of pulls everyone away, it pulls the attention away from some of those issues. How do you answer that?
Well, I think in many ways that kind of thing happens. As a matter of fact, even with this story, if you look at all the resolutions that were passed at the NAACP National Convention, you'll see one resolution supports a major piece of jobs creation legislation, creating 1 million new jobs, making our schools more effective and stronger, making sure that the health care bill that was just passed is actually fully implemented.
How about a resolution against the National Black Panther Party doing what they did in the 2008 presidential election? Why are you just now coming out now with racist claims against the Tea Party movement?
As a matter of fact,
why didn't you come out maybe a year ago when everyone else did? I think it has to do with the midterm elections. What do you say about that?
Well, I think you're wrong. And very well, the reason it came about now is because our process, let me explain the process to you. You asked me a question and I would like to answer it.
All right, go ahead.
Let me answer your question. The answer to the question is our resolution process requires those resolutions to be submitted by May 1st. This resolution was submitted from the Kansas City branch of the NAACP, meeting our May 1st deadline. It was then debated and discussed at the convention and passed. That's how this works.
You're talking about the resolution to condemn the new Black Panther Party?
We wanted to do the research. No. The resolution that condemns anybody that's extreme like that was also the resolution that speaks to civility in the political process.
I didn't see the new Black Panthers mentioned in it.
Have you seen that resolution? Were you at the meeting? We'd love to see
you been to a Tea Party?
Have a copy of that as well.
Have you been to a Tea Party? I'd love to invite you to come to one. Maybe you can hear me talk about how organizations like yours are pushing race-based politics.
Spit on John Lewis, and they called Emmanuel Cleaver the N-word. I was there. We were monitoring that was happening. Actually, we have witnesses who also happen to be the victims of those particular crimes.
We have no video or audio proof of that, sir. We've been waiting for that ever since this happened.
When things like this happen, so your assumption is it has to be videotaped in order to be real?
Yeah, that would be great because it's your word against everyone else's. Just like the new Black Panther, there's video proof, but we can't get our Department of Justice to bring charges against them. What do you think about that?
All right, we're going to have to leave it there.
I think we have some major concerns. There are a number of issues that were discussed at our convention, and our hope is that we can focus in on making sure that America has jobs for the 17% unemployment among African Americans, and that we address the issue of health care concerns.
You're doing a disservice to America playing the race card. It's very dangerous.
All right, I do want to get one last, Deneen, just one very quick thought if we can, because the way we started this segment was that they had been called upon, Sarah Palin and Dick Armey, to apologize for some of these signs that have appeared at these some of these events. Do you think they should do that?
Since day one, this is not something that the Tea Party movement is about. It's about policy.
No, I understand what you're saying, but address that. If there are some of these signs that are out there, and there have been pictures of some of these signs, do you think it would be wise for them to say, look, this is not, we denounce this is not what we're about?
It's not accepted.
So
at any rally I've been at, we have people who are on the ground who has these individuals removed from the presence.
Let's find a way to work together to address the real issues that address our country. And
one issue would be stop playing the race card.
Health care,
that would be very
education.
All right, Hilary Shelton.
Yes, ma'am. And if they stop carrying race placards, we can stop talking about the race card.
That would be great.
Thank you very much to both of you. Good to have both of you with us today.